good evening. Hope everybody had a chance to get out and enjoy the snowstorm over the weekend. We'll call the meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Berglund.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Present.
Klein.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the agenda? If not, call the roll, please.
Berglund.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Schott.
Yes.
Okay. Consent agenda. Tonight we have a number of items, including the minutes of the January 3rd, 2022 regular city council meeting, payments for contract services as followed. Bolton and Mink runway relocation phase 3 in the amount of $20,622.35. Bolton and Mink runway relocation phase 2 in the amount of $17,997.84. Bolton and Mink runway relocation phase 1 in the amount of $4,649. Bolton and Mink runway relocation land acquisition in the amount of $4,995.25. Bolton and Mink runway relocation in the amount of $28,946.52. Bolton and Mink municipal airport general engineering in the amount of $640. Bolton and Mink general municipal engineering in the amount of $8,771. Bolton and Mink downtown improvements in the amount of $1,972.50 for a grand total of those items being $88,594.46. Tonight for claims registers and financials, we have $1,570,591.32. We have some license and permits tonight. The following have applied for a liquor license. Casey's Marketing Company doing business as Casey's General Store number 2698, located at 1308 First Street. Renewal of a Class E liquor license with Class C beer permit, Class B wine permit, Sunday sales privilege, and ownership update board of directors. We also have Fairway Stores, Inc. doing business as Fairway Store number 470, located at 1315 Willis Avenue, renewal of a Class E liquor license with Class C beer permit and Class B wine permit. The police and fire inspections have been completed and they're on file at City Hall as per usual. You need a motion to approve those items.
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along to city administrator's report.
All right, got a few things this week. First off, tomorrow kicks off the first of our initial budget meetings with departments where they come in and give their requests for their operating budgets. I think Susie and I plan on getting out a schedule in case any council wants to visit and pop in on those. The first one starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow with Public Works. So that's open, but only two at a time. Do let us know if you have an interest in attending those or want to come, but that'll be getting going. Solar project is still making progress. I think they're down to City Hall and the police station that are needing to do the final hook-ins and things like that, and then it should all be ready to be all flipped on. I think both the north and south shops at Public Works and Recycle are already on solar, so that's good news. With the number of airport pay requests or engineering, obviously the airport projects are all moving forward. I see from phases 0 through 3 and land acquisition, so there's a lot of moving parts going on. And I know Bolton Mink staff, and there's a lot of different staff with different expertise working on that. So things are moving forward. Still having conversations with the county about wetland acquisition from their wetland bank. So hopefully we'll be getting that squared away. And then the last thing I've got is just wanted to mention that last week was our kickoff for the comprehensive plan update. So, Councilperson Walling is on that committee, and I don't know if you want to share anything during comments, but just letting everybody know that that got kicked off, and that's going probably a 12 to 18 month gig. So
It was an interesting brainstorming session. We set some priorities, and I think Sven had already put some priorities in there. And so have our work cut out for us.
It's good.
any questions for me?
Anything else for Sven? If not, move on to mayor council comments. Just a couple of things. Want to recognize and thank all of the public works employees and anybody else who worked so hard over the weekend with our recent snowstorm. I'm still waiting to hear how many years it's been since Perry had a snow like that. It's been a few, I think. But with the snow we had, it was really a tough snow to get out of my driveway and get off the streets, because we had that kind of a little bit of freezing moisture, ice, and kind of sleety at first. And it was just tough to get off the driveway, sidewalks, and streets. But I know everybody worked hard and did a good job. So I want to recognize those people and thank them. Also, we have Councilperson Vicky Klein not in attendance tonight, and just want to, recognize that we want to share our thoughts and prayers with her. As I think everybody knows, she lost her husband, Bruce, at 43 years over the weekend, and she's not here tonight, of course. So we want to thank Vicky. That's all I have, I think. Council?
Burr's coming up February 5th. Everybody get out and ride. Pray for 40 degrees instead of 40 below.
I had an email from one of my constituents really pushing for sidewalks up to the trailer court up north. With the snow, of course, the snow was banked this high alongside the road. And people are walking down the road to get to town. And it's not a good situation, particularly when the roads are as icy and slick as they've been. We really need to make that a priority, to get it on the agenda somehow, to get a sidewalk in there. Get people off of that road. I realize it's a DOT road. They probably have no stomach for doing that. So it's going to be falling on our shoulders and get it done. But I think we need to make it a priority to get that done before somebody gets hurt.
And Barb, I agree with you 100% on that situation. But as I drive around town, we have so many areas in older parts of town with houses and all of that that have never had sidewalks. And I see just as many kids up where we live now. We see kids going to the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, and we see kids all day long walking down the streets because there are no sidewalks for them to go on. We've dropped that ball many years ago, picked it up once in a while for a development here or there, but never really picked it up and said, this is something we really need to take care of. And I support everything you're saying about Barjack, but it's a much bigger picture in my mind that we need to be paying attention to.
I think that should all be on our future work list.
It's part of the
Because-
comprehensive plan for sure.
Yeah, Iowa Street has none. Anything past Iowa Street to the south has none.
Park Street.
It's
has none
dangerous.
to the
Park
east.
Street, it's all over
Yeah,
town.
it's all over town, that's right.
And it's gonna cost the citizens some money and probably the city.
The new apartment complex is going up on 28th Street, I think there's no sidewalks for those people, and they're going to be
Going to the high
close.
school?
Yeah, going to the high school, and they're going to be close enough that they're not going to be crossing the same issue extends out to 30th and 31st Street. So, yeah. Just want to throw
It's a
those scenarios
citywide
in.
problem. for
Yeah,
sure.
I have
I
a
know
sidewalk
it's-
at my new house and it is shoveled.
Good for you.
It's a tough call, but it's
It's
needed
in my
everywhere.
mind.
I'm sure, it's a good point, and I'm sure we'll have further discussion
Yeah.
about sidewalks. That area has been, a topic that's been brought up for many years, as we know, I think. Any other comments from council tonight? Okay. If not, we'll move on to open forum. Now is your chance to speak about any topics that are on tonight's agenda or any other topics you want to talk about tonight. As per usual, anybody for open forum, if you're in-house, you need to step up the microphone and state your name and address for the record. And you'll be given 3 minutes to address the council, and anybody on Zoom can speak up too. Anybody here for open forum? I do not see anybody for open forum, so I guess we'll move on. Next on our agenda, we have a special presentation from Lindsay. As everybody knows, Lindsay is the Executive Director of the Perry Area Chamber of Commerce, and she'll be providing a special report on the use of hotel/motel funds that they receive. Thank you, Lindsay, for coming tonight.
So as you introduced me, thank you, Mayor. Lindsay Pizzuti, I'm the Executive Director of the Perry Chamber of Commerce. So tonight I am giving a report on the Chamber's use of hotel motel tax over the last 4 years. That's since I've been here with the Chamber. So that's 2018, 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now we're in 22. Okay. So the 2 sheets that I just sent out, they are the same as far as content goes. Number wise, they're just organized a little bit different depending on how you like to receive your information. So there's one that's nice rows and columns, and then there's another one that's a little bit more visual representation of those numbers on a graph. So wouldn't be a report for me if there wasn't color involved, just to kind of help out with keeping things orderly. So wait till you guys get all of that. So as you know, the intent of hotel motel tax is for the promotion and encouragement of tourist and convention business in the city and surrounding area. That's how it's stated in state code. That is what the residents of Perry voted on to impose that 7% tax that's collected both at Hotel Patty and Super 8. And then of course, the breakdown of where that funding goes as well, with the chamber getting 4/7. So you see those 2 sheets, they are by calendar year. That's how the chamber operates. So those are those different columns and the different sections on the charts. So at the top for the income, you do see that that fluctuates quite a bit from quarter to quarter over the years. Obviously, the winter months are a little bit more light, as you would expect them to be compared to summer months. But thankfully, we do have a couple winter events that help balance that out. Not really sure what some of those numbers would look like without things like Burr filling up the hotel. So you can see, like I said, how those vary. We're always a month behind. So when it says Q1, that's when we received it, but that's actually the previous quarter. So just to show you there. Expense wise, I did break it down into 3 different categories. So we have the biggest one being marketing of events and promotions. Then we have grants and special projects, as well as general expenses and operations. Without getting too far into the weeds, you can see how those shift slightly from year to year. Some of that being just how we've changed how we do things, what we're doing, utilizing the different chamber accounts as well. So some things that we traditionally have used hotel motel tax for, maybe we've shifted it to the general account. So we're really just looking at that one account that comes through that tax. Each of those years, as you can probably remember for the past 4 years, have looked very different. So being that 19, we had the sesquicentennial, 20, we had a lot of canceled events, 21 being that we're getting back into that normal, but kind of shifting as we go along, as we decide what we're doing and how we're doing things. So when we look at moving forward, again, things shift slightly. Those numbers change from what that income looks like and those expenses. We have our general operations with the depot and the digital sign, staffing changes slightly. And then how, like I mentioned, using those other accounts as well. So those different events and promotions have shifted slightly. Could call out any of those specifically. But looking ahead, well, and then the other thing I mentioned too, with those change of the years, the hotel motel grants that we administer for the community entities that are seeking that support in their advertising efforts, that kind of looks different every year as well. So looking ahead at 2022, some of those percentages, we're kind of trying to narrow that down a little bit so that we have more consistency. So looking at about 50 to 60% going into that marketing of events and promotions, the remainder split between those grants and special projects, as well as some of those operations. Obviously not all captured in that category, being that we have general and cultural accounts as well. So if there's any special questions, you kind of see again how those are broken down with different events, regional and statewide advertising, those grants and awards, things like that.
We have no motel tax. in the third and fourth quarter.
So it's been collected, we have not received it yet. So that is one of the reasons why I am presenting. So never really did an annual report, but now starting to do that just to inform you all moving forward.
Thank you. Any other questions for Lindsay? I'm sure if we come up with one later after that, digest this a little bit further, we can give you a call.
Sure.
Okay,
You know my number, you know where I'm at, so.
we know where to find it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is nuisance abatement hearing. As approved by this council on January 3rd, 2022, a hearing will take place now at the request of Mr. Sean Bricks on the notice to abate nuisance he received for his property located at 2406 Otley. This hearing is being held in accordance with the city ordinance 50.13. Mark is here tonight, so Mark, you want to, and then Sean is here too. Mark, you want to kind of go over what the citation was or the abatement that we're talking about?
Those who don't know me, I'm Mark Colton. I'm the compliance officer for the city. It started when I was approached by the tree board president to go take a look at a fairly large stump that was left on the parking of belonging to the city. And the parking for the city, if not everybody knows, goes from the curb to the sidewalk. Okay. So I went and I took a look at it, and it's there. So I looked into the reason why it was there, because it's about a 5-foot trunk. And what I was told is that we had sent Walton Tree Service there to take the tree down. The tree was damaged at the derecho. So it was damaged, and we've got several of them throughout town on the parking that have been damaged by the derecho. This one was, Waltons went there to take it down, and as they were taking it down, the resident decided he wanted certain pieces of the tree. And so I'm not sure whether Walton's said, okay, we'll leave it for you, or it was one of our city employees that said, we'll leave it for you. But we have a practice of, when we send our contractor out there, to take the whole tree and stump it as well. And that's, you know, it's kind of it's a beautification thing, but it's also because of disease and trees being hurt, termites and everything else. So we take them all down. And so when I found out that the resident decided that he wanted it, I decided to send a payment letter to him, letting him understand that we no longer practice leaving the tree there. And that since he had
stopped our contractor from taking the tree all the way down. That it was gonna be his responsibility to take it down and to stump it. Normally, it's our responsibility. We do it and send it on the way. So that's kind of where the abatement started, and that's where it went to, out to the resident. And I know that he's got some questions on it, so.
Code say, do we have a code that specifies?
Yeah, so this, because it was damaged in the derecho, this would probably fall under the part of the code where the tree is dead, dying, damaged, or diseased, where then it becomes the city's responsibility to remove it. So probably ultimately in this case, it should just be the city that goes out and takes it down since it was damaged in the derecho. And there was no, typically if something like that happens and the homeowner wants to keep it, there's like a written agreement. But since that wasn't a thing, it was just kind of the derecho was hectic, and so it was just left behind. But it's been a couple years, and I think tree board was curious about it, so probably just needs to be something that the city goes out and cuts down and grinds the stump out. But I don't know if Mr. Brooks wanted to say anything, or.
Oh, you stand up to the mic, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so when Waltons came to cut the trees, take the tree out, I asked if it was okay. You know, I wasn't demanding anything. I asked him if it was okay if he left part of the tree about this high. I can't remember how, about this high or so. And he was totally fine with it. He didn't say anything to me about, well, I'm under contract to take the whole tree out. I can't leave the tree trunk. We have to take the whole thing out. We have to take the stump out. He never said anything about that. I literally asked him if it was okay if he could just leave the trunk or that much tree there, because I was wanting to carve something out of it, kind of a decorative thing. And that's how that came about. So I wasn't demanding anything. I asked him, and he was totally fine with it. He didn't make any comments to me that that it couldn't be done. So is there anything else you want me to know or want me to say?
Was that a Walton employee or city employee?
The Walton
Walton
employee
crew.
or
Yeah.
the company, the Walton company is who I had talked with.
Do you still have plans on carving it up
Mhm.
and making something out of it?
Yeah.
When would that start if you're gonna do that?
Well, it'd be pretty quick because I was planning on getting it done last summer and it just got away from me, and
Do you do it yourself?
I'll do it myself. Yeah. And looking at the code, it didn't say anything about, you know, when it talks about cleanup and the whole code, it talks about when you trim a tree or take a tree out, or if it's damaged, you clean up what's laying on the ground. I mean, that's the clear intent of the code. I mean, it doesn't say anything about the trunk has to go out or the roots have to be taken out, or I think that's being read into it from what I see when I read it.
It seems to me that as I'm driving around town without knowing about this situation, of these particulars, but as I drive around town, don't we have some tree trunks that are 8, 9, 10 foot tall that have been left and have been turned into art projects in certain people's front yards around Perry?
In the yards, but it's not something that we should practice in the right of way.
So you're saying that the ones that I'm thinking of are on the inside of the sidewalk?
I
Yeah,
think they are.
The ones I've seen are all on
Are they?
personal property.
And that's okay. It's like, yeah.
Well, so if I did take that out, I guess here's the other concern I had. The notice that I had gotten said 60 days, has to have be gone within 60 days. Well, that's in the middle of February, when there could be 2 feet of snow and it's 0 degrees outside. So if I do take the trunk out, I also request that happens, or I be allowed to do that in the spring when it's warm. It's warm enough to get at it. So that's my other
Are you
comment.
gonna cut the tree down itself, or are you gonna leave it right where it's at and carve it?
Well, I was gonna leave it where it was at, but if you insist that it gets taken out because it's in the parking, then I request that I get time in the spring, or, you know, at least in May or June, when the weather is more compatible. And not February.
Usually Mr. Colton is pretty good with working with people on the weather type stuff, but are you wanting the wood from the stump?
Yeah, I'll just keep it. Yeah.
And are you planning on grinding the stump after it's gone?
I'll take care of that. Yeah.
Extension on it. Kind of have a little bit of problem with our.
Does somebody want to make a motion that we give Mr. Briggs an extension to take it out? And if so, how long?
So we should have taken it all. Is that correct?
Yep.
We did.
Right.
Okay, so now that it's there, if there's, God forbid, somebody went up. There's some liability issues there. That's my question. Yes, should have taken it.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty great because it's been a tree, so like we've had instances where vehicles have hit trees and it's never come back on us, so.
If it was still a tree sitting there and a car hit it, it'd be the same as hitting a 15-foot tall stump, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
No, I just.
Was Walton paid to take the whole thing to the ground and grind it?
We would have to look back at the
That'd
record.
be a tough one.
We
with
should
all that
have-
we had down.
Most of that he billed by hour. Or by manpower and by equipment, so I'd have to go through. Yeah,
Yeah, it wouldn't be by exactly, it's mostly just by address, because we had to keep track of all of these things basically by address and by more or less GPS of which trees for FEMA reimbursement, which were close to finishing up.
So our options are. One, city goes and takes it out. Two, show some time. See, ask for an extension of time to. That tree, the stump itself. And take it off of the right of way. Three, I don't think. Setting that precedent.
At least tree stump artwork.
Right, no, I
Yep.
understand. That there are some artists. There really are.
Yeah.
Truly. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, no. So, and I'm not trying to add complications here, but it would seem to me that you could hire somebody to come in and cut that tree off at ground level and mount it on the other side of the sidewalk on a cement platform and make your carving.
That's what was kind of in the back of my mind as a plan, so.
Good.
But I guess one of the main reasons I wanted to have the hearing was the 60-day date. I wanted to talk about that for sure. So,
Yeah.
The 60-day date of having to be removed.
So your preference would be if you have to remove the tree, that you remove it yourself so you could save the stump and possibly move it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much time would you like to have?
I'd
What
say.
do you think?
I'd say till it's completely thawed out, so after spring break, probably. At
First of
some
May,
point.
1st of June?
So I'd say April, May. Sometime in April and May, whenever it's totally thawed out.
I would make a motion that we give him the amount of time that he would like to have to remove the tree.
Let's set a date.
Himself.
Yeah, maybe 1st of May. or-
1st of June.
No, I would think 1st of May would be plenty of time, a lot of times, March, April, you can get that out by spring break. We don't want to give him forever and then it doesn't happen in June. Let's go compromise 15th of May.
Yeah, I'll compromise and I think he will too. His
That would-
attitude has been
That should
wonderful.
give you
So
plenty of time. Wouldn't that work as far as your motion goes, Chuck?
yeah,
Just want to state your motion that he has till the 15th of May.
Yeah. I move that we give him until the 15th of May to deal with the tree trunk.
And I'd second that.
Any further discussion? Not call the roll, please.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Height, Walling.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If you need a model.
All right.
Yes, Barb would be available.
Moving on to old business, which will be quick because there is none. Moving on to new business. First item under new business is resolution approving addition to the fire department roster. Fire Chief Chris Hines is recommending approval of Ms. Margan Moosberg, I think it is, Berger's application to the volunteer fire department. Chief Hines stated that Mrs. Moosberger was interviewed by the officers of the department and it's believed that she will make a good addition to the department. Chief Hines also stated that at 35 members, the department roster is nowhere near its capacity and would allow for the addition of new personnel. Mrs. Moosberger will also fall under the SAFER grant, which will cover the cost of her protective gear. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve the addition to the fire department of Maren Moosberger.
I think it's my turn.
Maren Moosberger.
I'll second that.
And thank you for her service.
Yes.
Any discussion? Again, we want to thank all our volunteers for helping out on the fire departments and our other volunteer areas as well. So if there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item, resolution approving tax abatement applications for residential construction completed or to be completed in 2021 in Perry, Iowa. The purpose of the tax abatement program is to promote new residential construction and renovation in the city of Perry by reducing the amount of property tax homeowners pay on new construction, rehabilitation, and or major improvements. Citizens wanting to make these improvements must apply to the city council for tax abatement and be approved by resolution. Once approved by the council, applications are submitted to the Dallas County Assessor for review for the tax exemption. A list of current applicants was included with our packet tonight. Need a motion, please?
I had moved that we approve the tax abatement applications for the residential construction.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
We did have one application come in today, so Daniel updated the list and handed that out to everybody.
Okay.
Great to see more come in and some good improvements and good things happen. I think Scott sent me an email. I'll have to dig that out and find it and send that to council.
A lot of good things have happened since we've done the tax abatement.
Yes, I think it's probably since we instituted the tax abatement, I think we're close to 100 homes-ish.
That's great.
I think so.
And we were like in the single digits before that for
That's
recent.
incredible.
Yeah, from 2010 or 11 through 16, we didn't have any new single families.
Now they're going up all over town.
It's great.
It's still tough to
And a
find.
lot of renovation.
Oh, heavens.
Yes, lots of nice renovations going on.
You know, we've probably seen twice as many tax abatement applications for renovations as we have for new construction. So, you know, when we got the assessments from the county assessor this year, I think it's showing that people are fixing up their homes and there's a lot going on. So, good things.
It's great. It really is. Any further discussion before we call the roll? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, resolution accepting a donation of real estate. City Administrator Sven Peterson and Crystal Wright, the 6th District Vice Commander of the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Iowa, have held conversations regarding the American Legion post number 0085 located at 1324 First Street. The post was recently disbanded and the veterans and members of the American Legion post number 85 would like to donate the real estate to the city of Perry. This resolution would accept the donation of parcel ID 0210305001, contingent upon a clear opinion of title, and would also guarantee the placement of a memorial plaque of the city's stating that the building was donated on behalf of the veterans and members of the American Legion Post 85 if accepted. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we accept the donation of real estate.
Discussion on that donation of the building?
What are we gonna do with it?
That is a great discussion tonight, but so Crystal and I have been having conversations for quite a while. The American Legion, local American Legion post is disbanded. So the state American Legion has kind of taken possession of the building and has been dealing with it. So it really kind of came up in conversation and it's kind of gotten to the point that they really need to dispose of that property and would most like it to go to the city because the second offer they have or second option they have would be for someone to actually tear it down for a parking lot. So it's kind of a historic preservation type of thing, but as far as use, I've had a few conversations with some departments as well as school district, possibly for their alternative program or their success center. I've had conversations with Eddie Diaz if there's an opportunity for DMAC to utilize the building. But it's a gorgeous building. I think it serves an important role in the history of Perry and the architecture of downtown. So I really hate to see it get torn down, but you know, I think there's a lot of opportunities, and going back to the comprehensive plan, I think we're in a really great time right now going through a planning process that we could use this as an opportunity for some visioning and community input on what that.
Is the interior structure still in good shape?
Yep, actually it is. I think it needs cleaned out and kind of cleaned up and things, but up until a year or two ago, they were still having meetings there. And things like that.
So my dad used to go there all the time and it was a nice.
I think a lot of the utilities are off. I think there's still a couple that are on that they're really wanting to get turned off. So.
Turn it off in the middle.
Yeah. I know the water has been shut off for a while. That's
We still have to heat that. Those pipes are frozen.
I'm pretty sure it's been winterized. Or that might be one of the things is they're paying for heat.
Better check that.
I'd have somebody check that before we shut the heat off to it. And really, that's really hard on sheet rock and
It
everything
is.
else. And we should keep that at 50
Yeah.
or 45.
Have you been in it?
Just to be
Yep.
safe.
Okay,
Do we know when it was last inspected?
Yeah, so I mean, it has a newer steel roof on it, so that's in good shape. It goes back to when Mike was here. Mike and I walked through it. We were kind of a little bit nervous about what we were gonna see, but really walking through it, I mean, it's dated, but it seems to be in good shape. As far as the bones are there, and I think, you know, there's possibilities for some sort of use. It's just kind of a, if not this, the building probably won't be there after a while.
Is there a basement?
Yep, it's got a full basement.
So the foundation is solid.
That was all finished out down below too. It's really a nice building. Can we tour that sometime?
Yep, I've got a key so we can build it. If you have ideas or thoughts of use, I think anything's a possibility, so.
I'm sure we can find something. I mean, you threw out a lot of possibilities. There's probably more. I'm sure we can find something. Any further discussion?
I agree that it would be a shame to see it destroyed, but I'm scared to death that it's going to become more of a headache than it's worth. But it is a nice building. It was well constructed. I remember doing things in it as a high school student. That's a long time ago.
And I think there's, you know, there's the opportunity that we find some sort of occupant for it other than any city activities too. So it's not something that we have to find a use for or have to, you know, worry about. If we can find, you know, a business or something like that that wants to go into it, I think that's a great opportunity for us, but kind of just preserving that important piece of history, I think.
It's a good location.
Good location. I've never been inside of it, but I've always liked the architecture of the outside. Further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Shot,
Yes.
Hey, thank you. Be exciting to see what transpires with it as we move down the road here. Next item, resolution authorizing a grant application be submitted to the downtown housing grant in recognition of the need for more development and upper story housing downtown. This resolution would authorize the submission of an application to the Iowa Economic Development Authority, IEDA, for the downtown housing grant program on behalf of Sheffer Enterprises LLC for an upper story multifamily housing development consisting of no less than 13 units on the second and third floors of their building located at 1203 Second Street. This would also include a necessary match from the city to meet the requirements of the downtown housing grant program, not to exceed $130,000 and contingent upon the award of funding under the grant application. I need a motion.
I move that we authorize a grant application to be submitted to the downtown housing grant for Sheffer.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
I think this is a nice start. And you assured me that other people that are working on apartments downtown would be eligible for that if all the paperwork was done rightly. I still haven't quite fathomed the cost that it's gonna be to the city. Is that actual money we spend out to help this get built?
You're saying our match?
Yes.
Yep. So that's the email I sent out yesterday. That historically, we've looked at these development projects from tax increment financing lens of utilizing the increase in value, but we found that process, especially with downtown buildings that have a dual classification when the state changed the way they look at buildings. Now there's a commercial component along with a multi-residential component. And like I've said, when you're dealing with that residential component, there's a low to moderate income set aside that you have to use and then calculate into all of that. So, and then just working through all of the valuations and figuring out how long to tie up that increase in value and things like that. We really came up with this program to utilize proposed local option sales tax to be that incentive to help fix up these downtown apartments and get apartments filled up downtown. And the benefit, on one hand, it's costing us some capital funds. On the other hand, as soon as those projects are done, they go on the tax rolls, and those dollars are coming into our general fund and debt service fund, benefit fund, all of that. So that's how we get paid back. Yeah, more or less. So it's kind of that, instead of the longer term look with a tax increment financing development agreement, it's more of a short term out of pocket grant with a return in our operating budget.
And
And we'll be able to apply this retroactively to some of the other projects.
A couple that are going right now or mid is that I would say the ones that we've been in conversation already with about development agreements. So like the Nudgers, Splendors, things like that, those would all fall under this instead of going through a development agreement. Because I mean, those development agreements also cost us, probably, depending on how complex, $5,000 to $10,000 each time. So if we have multiple development agreements going, it doesn't take long to pay back some of this. So again, I would like to start this as a pilot program to see how it goes with a fixed set of money at first come, first serve. And I wanted to send all of that information on that housing pilot program out beforehand so you could look at it, but we'll bring that back for more conversation at another council meeting.
and then this won't be eligible for the 10-year tax abatement.
Correct.
It'll be
Yeah.
tax credit.
So there's no tax abatement, there's no tax increment financing, just a grant. And then we'll be able to get the project done and it'll be on the tax rules.
So basically 10,000
Per unit. Yep.
per unit.
And I know they're needed right now.
Oh, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
tough for people to find anything available. I've seen several that called and asked me, do you know anybody that's got an apartment? They're not out there anymore.
Now, will this need to be ADA compliant and things like that? I mean, did that put in a lift to get up to the state?
Not with the state grant or our local grant, but with our local grant, for the $10,000 per unit, we will be requiring sprinklers, which Shepherds were planning on putting in anyway. So, and the other projects are also planning on that too. So it's also a really great way for us to incentivize sprinkler systems in the downtown to improve fire safety.
It has here on the email you sent earlier, level 2, 5,000 per unit. And alterations in level 3 of 10,000 per unit.
Yep. So kind of trying to find two different variations of what people might do to downtown apartments. One being not a total down to the studs type of renovation, but maybe they're going in and, have a unit, but they want to gut the kitchen and gut a bathroom, totally redo those, and then also paint the walls, put in new carpet, things like that. So a little bit lesser of a renovation would get a little bit lesser. Again, that was just the draft I had out. So if we want to go with just the full rehabs or something like that, that's all part of the conversation.
So where here says level 2, 5,000, level 3, 10,000, will that be the city's input? And then there, so technically, with the grant money, that would be 10,000 for level 2, 20,000 for level 3?
No,
No.
that's one or the other based on, so a level 2 alteration would be $5,000 per unit, depending on how many units they have.
We're getting a grant, are we matching the funds for the grant?
For the tin pig, or we're kind of talking two separate things. So what's being voted on right now is a grant application, and the application would be for $600,000 from the state, and the city has to have a match to that grant for the project. But what I sent out was just information based kind of what that $130,000 came from and the mechanism behind that. So
So if the state got the 600,000 or if they got 600,000, we have to give them a 600,000 match.
no,
It's 130.
130 is our match to the 600 from the state, and then the Shepherd's private investment.
I do know there's definitely a need for apartments. Some cases here in town, I think the location at the police station, 4 to 6 month waiting list. So I think this is definitely needed.
Any further questions or discussion?
And Shepherds are here if you have any questions for them on their specific project.
They do everything.
So, it's evident.
It'll be good.
I've got one more question. When's the Ken pig over?
Liz owes me $20. I told her that.
Everybody in town is asking.
Soon.
That's not what they were.
Do we know when we would know if this has gone through, if this application?
I want to say, so I think application is due at the end of this month, and I think March, is that right? March is for Heather? March is notification for award of funds. So it's really a pretty quick turnaround.
What kind of time frame after the awarding of funds? What kind of time frame are we looking at before these would be?
Pretty sure that's a 24-month time.
Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Berglund,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Having no further business before us, we stand adjourned at 6:54 PM. Have a good evening. What's left of it. Thank you.
Yes.